Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Book of Rhymes, the podcast where we talk to artists about some of their most important work. And today, I got my homie, literally, Homeboy Sandman. What's up, boy?
What up, Don? How you doing, man? You mad professional, kid.
You saw I had to go in the zone real quick, all right.
Word up.
Nah, man, but it's a pleasure to have you, man. You know what I'm saying?
Good looking out, yo.
I've known you for what,
10 years.
10 years,
no doubt.
pretty much the entire time I've been in New York. So, you know what I'm saying? This is I'm excited to talk to you about just
no doubt,
a career retrospective type of thing.
Word up, very cool. Yeah, I'm hyped to be here, yo. Big shout out to Los, yo.
Yeah, shout out to Classic Material New York, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's powered by Los, you know what I mean? But yo, let's get right into it, man. So growing up in East Elmhurst, Queens, right?
Elmhurst regular. A lot of people confuse it with East Elmhurst. Shouts to East Elmhurst, but I'm from Elmhurst.
Okay, explain to me as an Ohioan what the difference is.
It's just a different kind of neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? East Elmhurst is a cool neighborhood. I used to go to the Louis Armstrong over there and box and play some ball, you know, at 227 or 207, I can't remember. But you know, they cool out there. Kid and plays from out there and all that. So they have more rap. Actually, they have a more it's I guess a more conventionally Elmhurst is a real more diverse type of area, you know what I'm saying? Is a you know, there's a lot of non-hip hop, you know, folks from you know, Asian cats to, you know, all different types of, just all varieties of cultures, you know what I'm saying? And lots of hip-hop cats too as well. But I think that's actually the reason why people confuse East Elmhurst with me, because I make hip-hop and they associate that with East Elmhurst more so. Yeah.
I got that from Wikipedia, you know what I'm saying? That was Wikipedia. You might want to holler at somebody. But so, speaking of you and Elmhurst, how did you discover your talent hip-hop wise? What was the...
Shoot, man. Well, I think really... on Queens Boulevard, right where I grew up, you know what I'm saying, on 90th Street, that was, bootlegging was big there before it was big in all New York, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My African homeboy used to hit me 2 for $5 every weekend, and if I didn't have 5, he'd hit me with 1, you know what I'm saying, just because I was always there. I had all the records, you know, between the years of, my first record I knew by heart, my boy Courtney Sorensen. It's actually funny because hip-hop became a theme for me throughout my life, has been, leaving where I'm from to, get a better education. You know what I'm saying? Right. I left where I was from and I had to start taking the city bus in the 3rd grade to go to this school in Maspeth, 153, which is a real different, you know, style over there. It was
3rd grade?
Yeah, in the 3rd grade I was taking a bus because there was this thing called the Beacon program. You know what I'm saying? My pops was like, yo, you better do your homework. Academics was always something that was focused on. So, you know, it provided me a lot of opportunity. But, you know, when I left, the only other brown kid over there was Courtney Sorensen, you know what I'm saying? And we was connecting on rap and rhymes, and he put me on the Jazz Jeff and the Fresh Prince in 1987. That was the first tape I knew back and forth. Before that, you know, I had, you know, my aunts, Lily and Lisa, used to go to put me on the joints, but they was putting me on BDP joints, you know what I'm saying? And I was just a kid and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? Slick Rick joints and all that. And and I was like, yeah, no doubt, that's cool. You know, Big Daddy Kane is cool, but you know, I didn't relate to it like that, you know what I'm saying? So when I heard that Jazz Jeff and the Fresh Prince, I was like, oh, I could relate, you know, I was shopping for clothes and all that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
After that, I started buying every rap record. And I went back, you know, around the way to go to 73 for junior high.
Quick aside.
What?
Do you remember what the first rap record you bought on your own was? What the first one you picked up was?
I think the first one that I got was I don't remember which one I got from Queens Boulevard first because there was so many. But the first one I went to Tape World and got, which was in Queens Center Mall, might have been the soundtrack for Menace to Society.
It's a good
pick,
man.
Know what I'm saying? Yeah. But by then I had already accrued a bunch of joints, but I can't really. I do know Jazz Jeff and the Fresh Prince was the first one I knew back and forth in 87.
But I just feel like the first one that you physically buy as a person, is it means a lot. I had got a lot of joints from my cousin, was feeding me. He gave me Tribe and all this stuff. But I remember the first thing I bought. First thing I ever bought was Salt and Pepper, Hot, Cool, and Vicious. You know what I'm saying?
Word up.
I was like, yo, this shit's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Dag, I bought some Salt and Pepper from Tape World too. Tape World's what I got my official joints. Dag, it was the Do You Really Want Me maxi single when they had the maxi singles out. That was my jam.
The Salt and Pepper joint?
Yeah,
If you really want me, man. Yeah.
Yo, Salt and Pepper had the jams, kid. Hell yeah.
Word. When did you discover rhyming though?
Oh yeah. What I was just saying, you know, afterwards I wound up going to high school out of state too, in New Hampshire. And probably right around, you know, where our peoples be at. I don't want to put it all in the street.
Yeah. Shout out Devon. It's cool.
Shout out Devon, word
up in Northampton, chilling.
Yeah, no doubt.
Mountain Man.
but yeah, so I was another place where I felt kind of out of my element and all that. And one thing I would do to just kind of connect and feel at home was just listen to records all constantly. So I kind of feel like I was just absorbed so much because I was really listening to records pretty much every waking moment. I was kind of like a mad person. I got rhymes about it. Like I try to be kind of gregarious and kind these days, but at that point I was like, I just a lot of anger from being at home or being away from home.
And it was almost a form of journaling, if you will. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like keeping just a way to get out your thoughts, like therapy. Like it was therapeutic to be able to like, explain yourself to a notebook. Nobody else.
100. I feel you so much. That's so true. I've been writing rhymes every single day since I started rhyming, B, in 2006, B. I feel like I know myself. I can't know myself no better, even though I still struggle to know myself. I just listen to records and every day I'm trying to figure out and trying to break down what I got going on in my mind and how I'm relating to my environment. It's very useful for me. You know what I'm saying?
Do you look back at those old rhymes from time to time, or are you always just kind of like cycling through, burning through?
Shouts to my boy Grateful Ray, you know what I'm saying, to make the Grateful gear out in Queens. We was talking about an idea for something we might do together, and I was just going through all my old joints, like looking for, specific sections and specific things that I said, and it was crazy. I mean, I got caught up just because, I put out lots of joints and want to put out more, and yeah, it was crazy for me to just see, all the different places I was at. I fluctuate in all different types of ways, you know what I'm saying? So it's cool to see it,
I'm the same way. Like, we were talking before off mic when we bumped into each other on the street, but I don't really necessarily write rhymes every day, but I do a lot of, like, doodling and to-do lists. I do a lot of, like, I write a lot, but I don't necessarily write rhymes. But some of that, like, I'm visual with my rhyming too. So when I'm writing on paper, not on my phone, when I'm writing on paper, there's a lot of like, I might draw a picture while I'm writing a rhyme. You know what I'm saying? Right. And the rhyme might end up being about the picture or vice versa. Like, so it's all connected, and I feel like it's all like kind of journaling and leading to like the same. It feeds the same thing.
Yeah, for sure, no doubt.
Yeah, but so, in terms of like developing yourself as an artist, when did you come up with a name? Like it's a unique name.
Yeah.
Did you have other names, or was it like the one?
That was the one. Even though I did have a bunch of other different names, that one, I kind of really liked it more than everything else. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really remember exactly when that was either, because that was one of the. I was a major pothead, before I came out rhyming.
Word?
Yeah, major every single day for years.
This is blowing my mind because I know you as just like.
Yeah, every day I smoked, every day, from when I was like, maybe 18 or like 26, right before I started rhyming. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah, when I was crazy high. But Homeboy Sandman was one of the codes I thought up at that time, you know what I mean? So I can't really remember when it was.
So when you, I guess, stopped smoking and started kind of like pursuing it and like really going at it, did you kind of more or less substitute the rhymes for the weed? Was it just like that thing, like, okay, this is my new thing that I'm driven toward?
Yeah, in a way, the rhymes definitely was substituted for the weed, because like the reason why, because I, like everybody respond different to whatever. For me, like when I would blow, like I would feel like the man, you know what I'm saying? Like I would be like I could smoke and I was untouchable, you know what I'm saying? I put my mind to that, I put my mind to her, and it was good to go no matter what it was, you know what I'm saying? And then after I stopped, I needed something to make me feel like the man like that. And I still need it. I'm still addicted to it. Like I still right here, I'm kicking it with cool cats right here, right now. Thank goodness, hey, what's up? Thank goodness I came through. If not for writing some ill on the train that got me feeling like I'm the man, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be able to kick it with y'all,
Yeah, that's again, like, I remember seeing you at South by Southwest one year on the street. You had like a grocery bag and you offered me some broccoli or some shit. And I was holding a beer probably. And I'm just like, nigga, what are you doing? We in Austin, Texas, barbecue and beer. And you were like, nah, I ain't fucking with that, G. Like, I don't know if you cursed either. You were just like, here, but you want some of this? Yeah. I'm like, nah. But like, that's kind of, and that's very anecdotal about, I don't know if I'm using that word right, but that's pretty much who, in my mind, like that's the person who I met. Like you're focused, you're disciplined, and in a way, like, you know what I'm saying, I don't know if that's kind of like what you meant to put out into the world, but like you're like the consummate rap artist creator, like, period.
Well, good looking out, man.
Saying? At least in my mind.
No doubt, man. That means a lot, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I meet like, now I've been doing it for 10 years. And it's so bugged out to me. I mean, it really is testament to me to just how bugged out I am, that people that meet me at different times have completely different ideas of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you offer me broccoli. Other times, You know, why they talking about when he first see me, I was mad heavy. I got up to 257 eating whatever was there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And living a different type of lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Since I from what all different types of shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to get too off track.
Yeah, my bad.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm gonna get off track. I'm saying you're fine. It's me. But like, what do you attribute to the fact that you could easily like make a decision to change something about your routine, your life, your whatever? Like what do you attribute that to? Because a lot of people, like for me, I want to cut out sugar. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? I'm like, fuck it, I'm not gonna eat sugar. Then I'll put some sugar in my coffee in the morning, and then by night at the nighttime I'm buying Kit Kats and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's I'm conscious that I want to make the change, but I can't. Like it doesn't stick. So what do you attribute to the fact that you can like more or less?
You know what? I really attribute it to I really want to achieve like enlightenment. I really want to achieve. Yeah. But when I say enlightenment, I don't mean like this wisdom or whatever. I just want to achieve being in a great mood all the time and being grateful all the time. You know what I'm saying? And never being upset. Because I already have had enough blessings that I should never be upset. So when I get upset, I'm like, yo, that's kind of stupid. How could I root that out, yo? From food to thoughts to intake to everything. And so for me, like, I've tried cutting out sugar. I've tried cutting out weed. I've tried cutting out. I tried to be breatharian for real. You know what I'm saying? Like I was. This was when it was heavy on. I was cutting out water status.
I was about to say, like, how do you cut out water?
Straight wilding.
How do you?
That only lasted 2 days, B.
You didn't drink any water, or was it like
I didn't drink no water, nor have no food, B. And I was bugging, wilding, like mentally. I was
you
wilding.
Can't.
Yeah. But the reason why I gave it a shot though, is because if that worked, you know what I mean, like. You know, I want to find what work. I haven't found what work, but I find things that work. You know what I mean? Maybe I could add this and add that and add that. So if I find something that is consistently keeping me in a creative, grateful place, then I stick with that. And it isn't difficult for me to stick with that because that's what I prioritize. So if I do stop eating sugar for an hour and I write the stupid rhyme in that hour and I'm in a great mood, I'm not gonna eat sugar after that.
Right, I feel you. It's almost like if your team is winning the game, you don't wash your jersey until they lose.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Like,
I feel it. But so, you taught for a little while, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, tell me a little bit about that.
That was
vague, but
that was
how long were you teaching?
I taught for 2 years.
Okay.
And that was pretty much right after I graduated from college. So this was like 02, 03 style.
Yeah.
Maybe 02, 03, 03, 04. But the truth was, man, I didn't really have nothing to, I was figuring out what to do. My boy Matt was down with New York City Teaching Fellows. He was like, yo, they hook you up. All you got to do is teach. You know what I'm saying? They get you, you get paid or whatever. You know.
Do you need a certificate to teach in New York?
I did this Teaching Fellows thing. So they got me my certification or whatever. I had to go to school. I had to go to Queens College and da-da-da. And they got me this transitional B certification, which was I was allowed to teach before I had whatever. But I was teaching high school. But I was teaching 14 to 18, and it was self-contained, 12 to 1-to-1 special ed. Like, it was the kids was like I was still very young kid style.
In the mind,
what I'm saying? Yeah. And had a lot to learn. So we were like peers in a lot of ways. Like I had some kids that was 18. Me, I'm 23. We both coming into school after acting whatever the day before, trying to just pretend that we ready for school, you know what I'm saying? If that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it was an interesting experience for me, man. I look back at it, I was I was taking days off constantly. I took 18 days off my second year. Like, it was wild. I started off when I first went there, I was wearing suits. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna show these cats that I'm the real deal. By like the end, I'm just like wearing whatever, and I'm like, yo, this is I was so slick. I'll tell you one thing I did at school, because I dealt with a underserved group of kids that I'm still mad tight with some of them, you know what I'm saying? But I was there 2 years, 2 entire years, and I had 2 parents show up to parent teacher, and in both 2 years, like in the aggregate, you know what I'm saying?
That's
it was 2, yeah.
Damn.
Because a lot of these kids was in and out of foster home group or whatever, but I was so slick because I was like, yo, I just want to get out of here. And it was in Long Island City, so that was when 5 Points was still out, and I wasn't allowed to take the kids out of the room without a permission slip.
Yeah.
Which of course, was very difficult to get a hold of. So I made a permission slip that said, yo, if I can't take your kid out of class whenever I want, then sign this and return it. You know what I'm saying? So like the default was like whenever I was like, oh, this is too much, I'll be like, yo, let's just go take a walk. Let's go to the park. We be hooping in the park. Like I was allowed to do whatever I want. Wasn't nobody really watching over me. I shut down math class and we just talked about roots for 2 weeks one time.
You weren't a sub. It was like you had like a class. It wasn't like a substitute thing.
Yeah. That was my class for 2 years. Yeah.
Because I'm only asking because I taught for a while too. You know what I'm saying? Like I taught for about approximately 2 years, 2-3 years or so.
Where were you teaching at?
I taught in Cincinnati for a little while as a substitute, and then I got my own. I had an art class in DC. I lived in DC for a year.
Okay, word.
And I don't know if our experiences were similar, but I felt a connection to the kids too in the way that like I would show up fresh off of a show the night before. So I might be hungover. I would come through with fresh kicks, whatever have you. But the kids saw something in me like in a weird way, like you're one of us. You know what I'm saying? Like I know you're an adult, but you're one of us.
Yeah, for sure.
And it helped me in a way relate to them in a way, but it also made me kind of not want to be there. Like I felt like I'm like y'all don't want to be. I don't want to be here as much as y'all don't want to be here. You know what I'm saying? Right. But did you learn anything when you were teaching that you like used to apply to what you do now?
Oh yeah, I mean, first of all, I've been in front of all types of crowds. Ain't no crowds like being in front of my class. Yeah, none of that, yo. My kids. You had to be on. You know, you had to be sharp because these cats was ready to they was alert. You know what I'm saying? So. Forget a crowd. Like I'll rock whatever. I'll rock Madison Square Garden tonight. No further preparation. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been in front of these cats.
Yeah.
So you know that was definitely, you know, that's definitely something that's occurred to me. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing I took away from that.
So have they you said you keep in touch with some of them. So they see you and they look at you as like do they still keep in like
we still talk. They be in my videos a lot of the time. My boy Jules in my video. In the video I shot with Edon the other day, Never Use the Internet Again. Yeah, that's my student Julius that's getting beat up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh wow.
So I got to really. This kid used to bother me so much. Like I got to really rough him up
vicariously.
Yeah. And I told him I was like, yo, I'm about to live out my dream and rough you up. But yeah, but Jewel, you know, Joselito is my boy. I just spoke to the other day. Like, I felt like, you know, looking back, like the kids really needed me. You know what I mean? And I could relate to you. Like being a man, one, and then being a man of color is like there was no other. So they was like, yo, you the cat. We gonna gravitate. You know, we rocking with you. You know, whatever. But I felt like a failure a lot of times. But and I know I could have done better. But you know, when I talk to my kids. You know, and just keep in touch with them and see that they doing well and all that. Yeah. Like, it just made me feel so good. You know what I mean? All of them ain't doing good, but the ones that are doing good that I get to build with, I mean, it's a blessing that I get to know these brothers, you know?
And it's one of those jobs where...
Brothers and sisters. But the girls, I didn't know what to do. We only had a couple of girls, and when the boys would act out, they was boys, so I could be like, yo, shut up or something, yo, like, why you acting so stupid? But a girl, like, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm not going to yell at you.
Yeah, go down to Miss Williams' classroom, or you go get the teacher and be like, yo, I don't know what to do right now. I feel you completely, man, you know what I'm saying? And like definitely, I don't want to belabor this, but definitely, like, there would be points in the day where I could tell, like, I was their first. I was the positive interaction with like a brown black dude. Like that was kind of like I was the status quo for that. They would be like, yo, good to see you, man. They were trying to talk to me about shoes and shit, and I'm like, I don't fucking feel like being here. I don't want to talk to you, but you got it's the same thing. You got to be able to perform for that role.
Yeah, that's for sure. What you was doing was important, man. Super important. Yeah.
But so getting back to music, when you left the classroom, was that when you were doing you were at New York for a little while, right?
Well, I didn't. After teaching, I actually went back to school for a while. I wasn't doing no rap stuff until 2007. Okay. Because 2006, December 2006, that's when I wrote my first rhyme that I was like, because I've been writing rhymes the whole time, but I was in a mind state of like, yo, I could really do this forever and I'm good enough. What was
not to cut you off, what was the point where that rhyme, what differentiated that, or what about your surroundings or what you were taking in made you be like, I can do this shit?
Well, the true story was I told you, you know, I was heavy with my trees. You know what I'm saying? I was heavy with my trees, and I was like, I would write a rhyme and cook whoever. I was always cooking. You know what I'm saying? But I always need to smoke. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really believe in myself. I was like, yo, I can't really actually do this. I'm just high. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was only once I stopped smoking in August of 2006, I thought I might never rhyme again. You know what I mean? And then this cat, Chetty, who was a cat that I had rhymed with, you know, he didn't know that I had rhymed, that I had stopped rhyming, because I stopped. And he sent me this beat that was so flavor. I was like, yo, let me really just see if I could try to do this. And you know, I know rhymes. You know, like I know what makes a rhyme hot. And I wrote this and I was like, yo, this shit has the components. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me see if I could do this for a week. And I wrote every day that week. And those were the first rhymes that turned into my first record, Nourishment, because I was like, yo, I could really do this. But in a way, I had been building up, like every time I would smoke and either write a song or record a song or be in a cypher, whatever it was, I was like, yo, if I could really do this, this would be what I did. Like my life would be so much fun. You know what I mean? Like I would just rap. So I was building up that confidence without building it up in a way, to the point where when I first wrote that rhyme and I was like, I can do this, it was just full speed ahead, you know?
Yeah, and it just felt supernatural because you were kind of preparing yourself in a way for it.
Yeah.
So, but I guess time hopping a little bit. When was the New Yorican era?
The New Yorican era, I think I probably started doing that maybe around 2008 or 2000. Probably around the same time as the AOK ish was popping off.
Okay.
Because I don't think it was 2007. Maybe it started late 2007 because Flaco Navaja had been hosting right before me. And right before that was Bobito, the original host. And I used to go there with my sister because she was a poet. And I was just looking for whatever ways to get on stage, get my name out. And then I heard that Flaco was going to stop. And then I just went and I was like, yo, let me do this. You know what I'm saying? And I asked Rocky.
Okay.
I was like, yo, Rocky, you know, I'm Homeboy Sandman and whatnot. I'll be rocking. People know who I am. And da-da-da-da. He was like, yeah, whatever, give it a shot. And and then I wound up, that was kind of prestigious and whatnot.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those things where like New Yorican is an institution.
Right.
So again, like just in researching you and studying, like just to have this conversation, because we know each other, but I don't think we've ever had a conversation in depth like this. It was one of those things where I was just like, it added, I already respect you, you know, but it added this other layer. Like, man, I didn't know he was such a staple, so rich and so rich in history. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
when you were that was a honor to get that gig.
What was it like to leave that gig? Like, when did you know it was time to leave the gig?
Shoot, man, I would have stayed at the gig. You know what I'm saying? But I guess, you know, everything was going real good. You know, shouts to all them New Yorican cats. That was awesome to be there. But I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not even sure what to say about that whole thing, but it wasn't even. It was just time to go because you know, it wasn't. There was disagreements in the thing, and
I didn't want to touch any raw nerves,
but it wasn't like I felt like I outgrew it or nothing, because it was getting big. Because after, you know, because it was huge when I was growing up, and then after 9/11, there was a lull and all that. You know what I'm saying? Wise Guy and Gaston was trying to build it back up, and Cass was holding it down. You know what I'm saying? But I really felt like there was a. You know, Flaco going into me was part of like a real renaissance was going on, you know what I'm saying? And I was real happy to be involved in that. So, yeah, it was a great thing to be involved in, but after a while it stopped.
Moving on, you ended up putting out The Good Son with High Water Music, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
There is a High Water logo on that CD.
Yeah.
It was my decision to stick to the original release date rather than switch everything up and just to have that taken off.
I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying. But okay, so moving backwards a little bit, actually.
You like that? I can't talk about New Yorican. No. I can't talk about High Water.
It's not even
Why
that
you beefing?
It's not even that I can't, to be honest. It's because I want to talk about something that my first introduction to you. The fucking flyers on the train.
Word up.
Like that, I remember the A train was just plastered.
Word up. And every train, cat.
Dude, like I'm AC line, so you know what I'm saying? I would just see that shit and I'm just like, this dude is either a genius or a lunatic. like I've never seen, because it was tagging, it was like bombing, but it wasn't done in a way that like it destroyed the train. Right. It was more, I guess it was more annoying to people who had to clean up the flyers and shit.
Yeah.
But for people like me, it was just like, you would be sitting on the train, like drunk or whatever, at 2 a.m. You see this bright ass neon Homeboy Sandman.
Hell yeah.
And like your name is such a unique name that when like that color flyer in combination with the name is just like, what is this? It became an experiential kind of thing. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to ask what you got the inspiration to do that for, you know, but rather, how long did you do that?
We did that, me and my boy E, you know, you asked my boy E was going to be here, my boy Eric, that's my main man, my brother, you know what I'm saying? he at the beginning he was running around with me at all times doing everything, man. And we hit every single train in New York at least a couple of times, you know what I'm saying? But I was living in Jamaica at the time, so the F&E was on smash. I mean, probably every F&E was all Homeboy Sandman out, every car. But
what time would you go? Like, would you treat it like actually bombing?
Me, at that time, I had my book bag at all times, and I always had flyers with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would go to my pop's office in Corona, use the printer or the copy machine, and always have joints on me. So every time I rode the train anywhere, you know, and at that time I was riding the train to open mics, I was riding the train or wherever to try to get on, I was throwing them up. And people would be there, be like, what are you doing? I'd be like, what? I'm just putting these joints up. And I would get into conversations with people. It was a cool little thing. But the intense, like, yo, we're going to hold down a whole train, it would probably be like between 1 and 5, and it would be me and E. You know what I'm saying? And we would like really meet up wherever, and we would just concentrate, riding back and forth. Once we got that one, we wait for another one, going back and forth, having conversations. Like, that's my brother, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was talking about my boy Sosa, you know what I'm saying? I got to stop being happy to be here, yo, because my brother E, my brother Sosa, you know what I'm saying? They need to eat off some of this shit, because they put so much, you know, they put so much love into my initiation, you know what I'm saying?
It'll come back around. Yeah. But I guess even going back a little bit further, because you said you would go to your dad's spot and like make copies of shit. So you said early on you said your dad would push you towards academia. You had to do well. How does he feel? Yeah. How did he feel about you pursuing it then versus now? And like, did it ever come to a point where?
Well, it's an interesting thing. My father has a real interesting story himself. I'll just summarize it. It's a long story, but to make a long story short, he was a boxer and a bouncer who never graduated from high school. Okay. Who then one day, after being undefeated and getting a signing bonus and being a top contender, you know, and being 7-0 pro, decided that he didn't want to fight anymore, and all the dude knew was fighting. Yeah. And then decided, because he came from the Dominican Republic, that he wanted to be a lawyer. Because when you come from one of these countries, everybody thinks doctor and lawyer is all the big thing to be. Right. So he's like, I'm going to be a lawyer. And people are like, yeah, whatever, Angel. You know, you must have got hit in your head too hard that last fight anyway. But my whole childhood, he was going to Queens College for 10 years, you know what I'm saying? And around the time I started going to high school, he was graduating from law school, you know what I'm saying? He got his GED. So my father, when he saw that I had a passion that I was serious about that everybody thought was crazy, he was able to relate to that 100%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, so he was able to be like, oh, word? This kind of reminds me of when I did that crazy shit that now he's a community lawyer in Corona. He ran for city councilman, got 20% of the vote, just no bread, just off cats being like, yo, Angel's running for what is it, councilman or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, that's
the incumbent,
wild.
That one got 27%. Fucking ads on Univision, whatever. We don't say like mad bread. My pop was like, yo, I'm just trying to run because cats know me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But so he was like, yo, if your heart is in it, do that shit. Yeah.
Cool. And so you pursued it. He's okay with it. Yeah. Fast forward again. We time hopping again. We're gonna jump past Good Son and go to LA. Like, what was linking up with Stone's Throw like? Cause that, to be honest, when I saw you were working with them, it was one of those things where I was like, this makes complete sense for the artist he is. But it's also like, how do you link up with Egon, which is.
Well, Egon was actually, he's not at Stone's Throw anymore. Okay. And he was, I had a couple conversations with him when I was signing up. But he was kind of getting ready to transition out. It doesn't have to be about him, but I'm just more interested in how you link up. Well, it was John Wayne, you know what I'm saying, who was putting out records on Stone's Throw at the time. Yeah. And we've done a lot of joints. He introduced Wolf to my joints. That's really how. And then Wolf and me started talking through that. I was doing mad work with my boy RTNC at the time, or now his name is Mono and Stereo, who, unless he changed his name this morning, you know what I'm saying? Changed his name all the time. But, and me and Wolf started talking, and I was working on these joints with, at the time, Authentic. And I had all them, and I'm like, yo, well, I got all this stuff right here. You know, there's a lot of heat. What you think about all this? You know what I'm saying? Because you put out joints. And he listened to him. He was like, yeah, this is good. You know, we might get involved and all that. And that's really how it started. So, it's, my boy John Wayne, I'll never let him pay for a meal again. You know what I'm saying? Because he definitely, was integral in that connection. And
since then, have you, how much time do you spend in LA? Like, is it a thing where you?
I was spending a lot of time in LA. I wasn't never spending a lot of time in LA. Shouts to LA, but I don't like sitting in cars. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, to me.
Unless they're train. You don't like train cars either?
Oh no, train cars is cool. Train cars is cool because I don't know. Maybe it's just I'm used to it. I sit in there and write when everybody's freaking out because the train ain't moving. I'm like, whatever. I don't care.
There's a little bit of claustrophobia if you pay attention to being underground, but the train car is a pretty big space.
Yeah.
Like if the train car was an apartment, you would pay at least $2,000 living that shit.
Oh, I mean, space. Yeah, hell, you pay more than 2 G's.
Easy. Yeah.
Oh, but I would go out there to record. You know what I'm saying, and use the Stone's Throw studio and stuff like that. And then I would just go out there from time to time to, just to build with cats and stuff like this. But it was always creativity, mostly creativity based.
Yeah, it seems like, I mean, you've always been like from videos to just the actual songs and shit. Like you've always been an artist that you push yourself and you push the art and the limits. But it seems like at Stone's Throw, like, it blossomed even further. You know what I'm saying? It was
and
that might have just been natural progression as an artist.
Well, I mean, it was natural progression as an artist, and also for the first time I had resources that I didn't really have available to me. Like everything I was doing, with Good Son and Actual Factual Pterodactyl and Nourishment, that was really off love. Like I was shooting, I didn't have nothing, but Cass was shooting videos for me. We did the best we could with whatever we had. You know what I mean? So, having Wolf believe in the vision and be ready to put some bread behind it. I mean, and be able to put some resources behind it. And you don't have to just use, these dudes. We know these dudes, you know what I'm saying, that can shoot or whatever.
Yeah.
That made for a lot of, creative expansion. Cause I do hate to do things that I feel like somebody else's did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Putting imagination and making imagination reality, for me, it oftentimes takes a lot of help, from other people that, could kind of see the vision and want to invest either time in it, invest money in it, invest something in it,
Yeah, like I was trying to figure out, like, what are the classic elements of a Homeboy Sandman song? And, like, there aren't. Like, you figured out a way to just keep the listener on his on our toes. You know what I'm saying?
I love to hear you say that, man.
Yeah, man.
What
I'm saying? At one point I was like, it's high BPMs, and I'm like, nope, that's not it.
I meet people and they're like, yo, it's so good to hear you rapping fast, because the first thing they heard from me was Chimera, or the first thing they heard from me was, that was the slowest.
My shit is gonna be this shit. It was the bone to me.
Oh yeah,
like that's one of the first entrances to, like, the entrance to your shit for me. So like I always think about shit like that, or like the
tablecloth. Yeah, with my boy Fresh on it. Yeah.
That's not like.
And then I did a record with M. Slago who did that, and it was all pretty much slower beats.
Yeah,
and they rapping more. So
not really like that joint. Like you got a lot of joints that's just like you run the gamut, man. So there's no real quantifying you as just like a one note kind of artist.
I try to
visually or like for just the songs themselves, which is really cool. And I want to get into that. But first we got to talk about just your writing technique. Like you say you write every day. You write a lot.
Yeah, I do write often.
So when you're in album mode, like, is there any difference in like the way you're writing? Does it become a different focus? Or
for me, album mode, like I'm flying to Buffalo tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. to go to Swamp Studios and finish up this next record that I'm working on. And for me, album mode is really just, is really just, I don't want to let all these cats out the bag.
You don't gotta give the sauce away.
For me, album mode is polishing up everything that I've written that I've decided is going to be on this album.
Right.
You know what I mean? And going and maybe touching up some of the recording joints I haven't recorded, figuring out where we're going to start and stop it, and sequencing, and if there's going to be an interlude and mixing it, That's album mode for me. Because writing mode is, like I said before, I'm addicted to writing. It's where I really get a sense of self-worth from. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm addicted to writing something that I feel is fly. I feel like that's where I get my power from. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna say that right now I'm in the middle of a very heavy writing period, just because I've been getting so many hot beats from cats. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when I get hot beats, it's hard for me not to write to them. You know what I mean? But sometimes I write less, but I think I'm always writing to a certain extent. Or even if there's a day that I don't write, I'm kind of maybe listening to a beat or something, like it's something's going on in there,
I already know the answer to this, but is there a specific time of day when you feel the most creative when you write, or you just like whenever the feeling strikes?
Yeah, it's pretty much whenever feeling strike. But sometimes, you know, sometimes I'll go to sleep or I'll go lie down, but I'll just have the thing, so I won't be able to go to sleep, and then I'll wind up like having to finish it before I go to sleep. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And you also do this thing that I think is super cool. Like you kind of make, I call it like art out of the mundane or everyday ordinary. Like Bus a Rhyme is about riding the bus. You know what I'm saying? Or like Stroll was like, shout out to Rich Lewis on who shot the video too.
Yeah, word up.
But Stroll is just about you walking around. Like you, that's how I could tell you write a lot, because you process the world in general and how you experience the world through rhymes. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like some shit where you're just like I'll sit down after a week or two of not writing around and be like, okay, how do I crystallize this whole experience this last 2 weeks? Whereas you could tell you woke up and your coffee was bad, so you're like, man, fuck this coffee. I'm about to diss this coffee. But I think that's a really cool way to like make art out of everything about your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's something I admire about you as an artist.
Good looking out, man.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
looking out.
But so, ink versus iPhone. Are you a pen and paper kind of cat?
Nah,
or
I'm
you
a phone. I mean, I had so many. I'm gonna be a purist, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this is so much easier. I got my phone. But for a while, I tried to stick with the pen and pad. And you know, if my phone dies and I ain't got my charger with me, I'll write it on wherever. But
do you ever do voice notes? Like
yeah, absolutely. I mean, not even so much for the lyrics, but just for the melody of the flow. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Man,
I hate it when I got a rhyme and I can't remember the cadence. Shit drives me crazy. Yeah.
I got one like that right now where I'm just kind of like, I don't know what the fuck I was trying to accomplish with this scheme.
Yeah, word.
But, like it comes back to you, but it takes a little bit of like massaging it, and at that point you're just kind of tired of it. You know what I'm saying?
Word up. Absolutely.
Yeah, but so like moving on to performance, you're one of the more dynamic performers of that around. You know what I'm saying? Like your live shows tend to be super visceral. You know what I'm saying? Like there's always an element of like the crowd feels like they're a part of the show and they're not watching the show. Like where does that come from? Like is it just kind of like innate, or were you looking at like where does that?
Dad, you know, I just I mean, I don't know if innate is where it is. I really, you know, I know this is cliche, but for me, it's 100% true that I feel most comfortable on the stage because that's where I'm kicking my rhymes, which is where about the part of me that I'm most confident in. You know what I'm saying? It's like this arena.
I get it.
With this thing, this is the thing that I do well. You know what I mean? And everybody here to see me do this thing that I do well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got this under control. Like, this is my space right here. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I've always felt most comfortable there, I guess.
Do you enjoy writing or performing? Like, which one is, you know how some people are like, I like to write and record, I like to perform this shit. Which one, or is it just kind of even keeled, you like it all?
I would have to say, if I had to pick the best feeling is when I just finished a crazy rhyme. Like when I just finished a crazy rhyme, and that last finishing part, for me, sometimes the finishing part take as much as the first 14, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, yo, I gotta go out, I gotta nail the dismount, you know what I'm saying?
Man, like the last line and the first line are so important.
Oh, absolute.
Shout out to Prodigy. Yeah. Prodigy has some of the coldest opening bars on songs.
No doubt,
like,
no doubt. Hell yeah.
But yeah, those are two of the most important bars, like hands down, yeah.
That's my favorite feeling, but I love a lot of stuff.
So you have this super prolific discography. Like your discography is, I didn't count up each album, you know what I'm saying? But how many would you say you have?
Man, I would say, you know, between EPs and LPs, probably somewhere around 13, 14, or 15, something like that.
It's crazy. Would you say that there's a connecting thread that goes through? Like if you, like I know that you did the Fertile Crescent with, and then there was like a 3 EP thing, and I know that has a thread somewhat to it. But like looking at your overall discography, like are the albums connected in any other way aside from you being the person who made them?
I don't know that they are. They might not be, for sure.
Yeah.
Just because one of the things I'm really learning to get comfortable with, or trying to get comfortable with, is not really having a whole lot of consistency, you know, about myself. I mean, I think there are certain things about me.
When you say consistency, you mean like of style or of
style, of I mean really of everything. I mean of style, of even personality or state of mind, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's some quote somebody said that I can't remember who it was, but I really like it, is you have no responsibility to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago. You know what I mean?
Damn.
And I wish I remember who it was, but for me, like, something about me is always trying to make me have this thread going through everything, and like, you know, I can't. You know, the other day, and I hadn't smoked since 2006 until last month, March. I was high the entire month.
Welcome back.
No, but now I don't smoke again.
I'm joking.
Maybe I'll smoke later.
I feel
but
you.
my point is, I always had an idea of like, I have to have whatever rule I'm on right now. You know what I mean? I was never able. I'm trying to figure out, like.
I feel what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. Like, it's that thing where like you make yourself, period. And like if you want to, if the rules are yours to break, like nobody else can break your rules for you. But if you decide, like, I feel like I want to smoke, that's cool.
That's definitely that, and also that's half of it. The other half of it is, so I wrote all these joints in March,
right?
And I'm like, yo, am I gonna put those out as Homeboy Sandman 2.0? What am I now? Homeboy Sandman 2.1? I have all these fragmented pieces of me. There needs to be something that connects all of them.
Yeah.
Rather than just being comfortable with the fact of, yo, it's just me. It don't got to make no sense. It just got to be heat. You know what I mean? I want heat to be the frame. Yeah, I want heat to be. I want heat and authenticity, and some shit that you ain't gonna hear no place else to be the thread. Other than that, I don't want to have no more threads. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Like, I put pressure on myself to have these fucking threads. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I put limitations on myself, you know? But if there's threads on their own, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like being that you're the person that's creating the stuff, the thread is inadvertent. Like, you don't have to force a thread. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's from you. It's all coming from your mind. So you're the connective.
So hopefully that could be enough.
Speaking of which, how do you pick producers? Like, you've worked with a lot of people from. I'm talking about from the beginning until now. Like, how do you? Like, what's the vetting process for beats? How do you find beats? How do you find people to? And also, my bad. Like the even deeper question with that is, when you do these pairings, like RTC and like Lice, A$AP Rock, and like Edon.
Right.
Like how do you? What is it about those people that you gravitate towards?
I guess that's something that's evolved, because in the beginning I was just listening to everybody's beat, you know, and I'll be like, yo, if this is heat, I'll rap on it. Most